folks. Welcome to our webinar. This is a webinar about presenting 4 presenters at the 2021 National Conference on Ending Homelessness, which will be virtual this year. With me are my colleagues from Golden Planners, who I will allow to introduce themselves. Start with you, Phil.
My name is Phil Ecclestone. I'm president of Golden Planners, and I serve as the event manager for CAEH with some responsibilities on program design.
Maria.
I'm Maria Librado. You might have communicated with me. I see a lot of names in the participants that I've already spoken to. I do the registrations and I communicate with the presenters for CAEH.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Well, welcome everyone. We've got a lot to go over. This will be a fairly informal conversation, so feel free to speak up in the chat or put a question in the Q&A. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge that I'm calling in from Treaty 7 in southern Alberta. That is the home of the Tsuut'ina, the Blackfoot, and the Kainai people, as well as Métis Nation Region 3. And from coast to coast, we're acknowledging the ancestral territory of the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. We recognize the historic and ongoing impact of colonization and are committed to decolonization of our systems and ongoing reconciliation, guided in our work by the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. The TRC calls to action and the MMIWG calls to justice in the principles of empowerment and self-determination. Our agenda today is pretty straightforward. We're going to go over, just give a really high-level overview of CAEH21. We're going to talk a bit about the concurrent sessions, so generally speaking, how they are structured. We have some tips on developing a good presentation for a virtual conference. And we're also going to go through recording your presentation. And again, we'll talk about the conference day in the context of the overview of concurrent sessions in the conference itself. And then we'll have some question and answer session in the end. A bit of housekeeping. So we got lots of people on the line today. Everyone is going to be muted. We can't. It just gets a bit too chaotic if we got a bunch of different folks chatting at the same time. But feel free to use the chat function to talk with your colleagues or make a comment. If you, we're going to have a moderated Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A tab in the control panel for the Zoom machine. We're also going to be doing a recording. So we're recording this webinar and make it available on the CAEH21 website, as well as in the event app itself. First of all, without further ado, I'll just give you a high-level overview of the National Conference on Ending Homelessness. So the conference, I think of as the annual meeting of our movement to end homelessness in Canada. And the conference is designed, as it says here, to arm policymakers, funders, researchers, advocates, community leaders, frontline workers with the inspiration, information, tools, and training they need to end homelessness. So the conference itself is really designed to be, a meeting, a way for us to get together, talk amongst ourselves, get inspiration from one another. But it's also really important to give people really concrete, actionable information that they can put to work in their communities. And we're hoping to accelerate the movement, accelerate ending homelessness by making it easier for people to put in place those practices that we know work, which is why you're all here. So you've all got presentations that we've accepted, we'd like to include in the conference. And it's important that you know that what we're trying to make sure to get for people to get out of this is an opportunity to learn something that they can take home and put to work. So the conference takes place November 3rd and November 4th. And obviously this is our first, and I said hopefully last, fully virtual conference. We normally get together in person with 1,500 of our closest friends. And I'm looking forward very much to getting back in person next year. But we'll have to see how COVID and the health and safety situation unfold. The conference itself is condensed, so it's not as big and as long as what we would normally do in an in-person conference. So we have 51 concurrent sessions in 4 streams, and they're broken down into 4 blocks. So you'll have a morning, a lunch keynote, and then a series of concurrent sessions in the afternoon, and then the same thing on the second day. We normally have 6 blocks of concurrent sessions. This time we have 4, and we've also shortened the conference. We want to make sure that we keep it within a reasonable amount of time that people can be in front of their computers or with their colleagues in front of the screen to watch concurrent sessions. So the other thing we want to do this year is, as we think about our theme of the pandemic, or a theme of the conference, and you'll see this sort of play out over the next few weeks and at the conference itself. But, you know, our sector's been through an awful lot. Like, it's honestly taken quite a beating over the last, you know, I guess, what is it, 20 months or so, 18 to 20 months of the pandemic. And we want to recognize the contribution and sacrifice of workers in the sector during the pandemic. And you'll soon see a bit of information from us on a multimedia project and our Pandemic Heroes project that we're going to launch very soon and collect videos and testimonials about work happening on the front line during the pandemic. So it's a theme that you're going to see this year that we wouldn't obviously have seen in past years is really focused on recognizing and being grateful for the sacrifices of folks working in the sector this year. The concurrent sessions are an hour long, so they're shorter than in person. So they're normally an hour and a half when we go in person, and so we're trying to condense the time to make it a bit easier when you're joining online. The time is divided in those sessions evenly between the presentations. We want to leave some time for questions and answers. You may be in a presentation with another presenter, you may be on your own, but we want to make sure we leave time for an introduction by a moderator, the 2 or whatever number of presentations are in each session, and a Q&A at the end. So you'll have to, if you are presenting with someone else, we'll connect you with those people, and so you can talk. So we know, actually we won't be connecting with those people, but we'll give you a sense of how much time you have in your presentation. We're asking that there will be a recorded moderator welcome, an introduction, and recorded presentations. With 51 concurrent sessions happening, it's just way too complicated to be doing live sessions in this sort of format with so much content. So we're going to need all of the presentations recorded, but we will do a live question and answer that will be moderated live by the moderator. And there will be closed captioned interpretation. And now I will turn it over to Phil, who's still on mute.
Mouse got away from me. As Tim mentioned, we will be doing what we call semi-live, where the presentations are recorded, but the presenters are to be live for the Q&A. So on the day of the session, we encourage you to log into the conference platform, which is the same platform that you use to register, submit your abstract, and record your presentation. And then 15 minutes before your session, you're to log into a Zoom meeting like this one with the link we'll be providing you. It is specific to that meeting, so it's need to use the right one for the right meeting. You can watch the session as the pre-recorded presentations are broadcast. You can answer Q&A that comes up in the chat and Q&A functions while the presentations are going on, or you can save them till the end. But if it's a simple question, text will work. I would suggest you do so to keep active, and the interactivity at the conference is important. And then during the live Q&A, answer any questions posed to you by the moderator. And so that will keep it Smooth flowing day. Next. So next. In developing a good presentation, I encourage you to think about the goals and objectives of the presentation that you're planning to deliver. What is it that you want to impart to the participants? What do you want to get to them to get out of the presentation? What do you want to see them learn? Next. And I suggest you can do this as well through in your presentation outline. One of the things that I suggest is that one of the very early slides be a slide on outcomes, what you expect the presenters to learn from it. And so you put it on the slide so that they can see what it is that you're going to do during the course of your presentation, and then carry through the presentation and then repeat it again at the end as your conclusions. This way you'll be reinforcing to the participants what it is, the messages that you're trying to deliver. Next. I wanted to cover quickly the basics of a good slide deck. We've all heard the expression death by PowerPoint, and death by PowerPoint occurs in a number of different ways, but one should remember that your PowerPoint slide deck or other version of slide deck is audiovisual support to the message that you're talking about. It should be simple, clear, easy to read, simple messages. Really don't want to see people just reading the sentences on their slide deck, because that just becomes you're watching you're not giving a presentation, you're reciting something. You should use contrast and size to focus content. We recommend in most cases to use a dark background, but the most important thing is to have good contrast, so it's easy to see that people aren't spending a lot of time trying to figure out what's on the screen. Use large text. And as I said, whatever's on the screen should be there to help reinforce the message that you're talking about. When you're doing your presentation, next. So the other thing I would recommend is that you rehearse your presentation. Do it once, do it twice, do it 3 times so you're comfortable with it. You want to make sure that it fits within the time that you've allotted. And one of the ways to reinforce that is by doing a rehearsal. The other thing about doing a rehearsal is you'll be able to see other things that you can verify the things that will help make your presentation good. Also, by doing a rehearsal, you'll feel more comfortable with the words that you're using. Next. Establishing your video recording platform. What we mean by this is we are offering a video record mechanism through the Exceed platform, but if you have more than one presenter, it doesn't work for that. It's built for single presentations only. So if you're going to have to do a panel presentation, for example, it's best to record it in something like Zoom like this, or Loom, or one of the other platforms that's out there. I next want to talk about the recording environment. You want to have a good you want it to look, your recording to look good. A couple of quick things on this are light. You want your light to be in front of you, not behind you. If it's natural light, make sure the window is in front of you, not to the side. You want a clear background. You don't want a lot of clutter or things moving behind you. You want the focus to be on you as the presenter. That way people will be paying attention to what you're saying. You should test your equipment. Make sure that your microphone and camera are working well. And then we have the internet. It's best to be hardwired into your router if you can. If you're using Wi-Fi, you should be as close to the router as you can. I'd recommend that you do a test using speedtest.net and test the speed of your internet connection with a minimum upload of 5 megabytes per second and a download of 30 megabytes per second, and a maximum jitter ping of 20 milliseconds. That's all technical, but if you want to just remember 5, 30, and 20. We included in that earlier email letting you know about your presentation some links to some other PowerPoints to give more detailed information, but it's important, for example, to wear solid colors, If you're wearing something that's got a lot of patterns in it, it will cause movement when the video is being recorded, those sorts of things. And at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Maria. So next, she can talk about recording your presentation. And at this point in time, we're going to move out of this slide deck so Maria can share her screen and show you how to record.
Hi. So I'm just going to share my screen. All right. So you should be seeing right now two pages. You'll see an email page and a Google page. I'm going to show you how to record from the platform. So everyone, if you're here, it's because you have received the CAEH presenter instructions. So over here, you'll be able to see how long your presentation is going to be. So there are options. There's 45 minutes, 22 minutes, and 15 minutes. It is in the email that you received. Do not go above that because we will have to ask you to re-record. So try to stay within that time limit. And afterwards, after all the presentations or after your recording, there will be the live Q&A portion that Phil mentioned. In the same email, it will take you to the recording page. So if you scroll, you'll see a logging into virtual conference platform. Here you will be able to copy the link or just click on it and you can paste it into just your browser. It will automatically log you into your recording area. So once you're here, let me just make this bigger so you can see better. You will come into the profile, your profile in the platform. In this profile, you have access to a lot of things. It's also where you also submitted your presentation, so it should be somewhat familiar to you. In here, you can view your presentation. This one here is a test presentation that I've created for this. And now scrolling down, if you have multiple presentations, you will see the ID number and the title, one above the other. And then to record your presentation, you can click here. So it's this button, record, upload presentation. Once you click it, you'll have two options. You can record presentation on the platform or upload presentation video. If you click here, you can upload your MP4. So if you've recorded on Zoom or if you recorded in, so if you've recorded on any other format that you have, this is where you would upload it and make sure it is an MP4. But if you're recording on Exceed on this platform, you can click record presentation video.
Recording feature requires you to give permission to user media to work.
So then
Please refresh and try again.
So then you will have these options. Because I have my video open, I'm going to shut it off on Zoom so that I can test it out and Exceed with you all. So I'll stop my video here. And now you see me in the platform. I will also turn on my microphone. So you have to follow the steps, your microphone, you have your camera, and then you will also be able to share your screen. So I'm going to share a screen of a mock PowerPoint presentation. Right now, you won't be able to see it. You'll only be able to see it once I show you how it works. So then you share your screen here. Share. So here are your options. So you can share the entire screen or you can share a window. I'm sharing my window because that's what makes the most sense. If you want to show a video or if you want to show a PowerPoint presentation, make sure you're showing the correct thing. So here's my PowerPoint slide, so I'll share that. And then I can record. So once you record, you'll hear another message.
Recording will start in 15 seconds. Head to presentation now. Once you are done, go back to web app and stop recording. 3, 2, 1. Recording is on.
So here is when you can start recording your presentation and you can, say the title, all of that. Once you're done, you can click on stop. It will load and save your presentation. Here is when you can start. There you see me. This is a presentation that I had on a separate screen or in a separate PowerPoint location so that you could share that on your screen. If you are, listen to it. If you're happy, you save and upload. If you are not happy with it, you can discard the video and re-record again. You can even play around with this a few times so you can get the hang of it and then actually record your whole video. Once you're done, you save and upload. I have a video that is already there. Just want to get out of this one here. Go back. So I've already pre-recorded one here. You can preview the video. If you are going to record again, you will lose the previous video. So just make sure once you're happy with the video that you've done, you do not play with it anymore because it will be deleted. So make sure that you're happy, you leave it, and that's done. There is also a transcription option. So once you record about an hour and a half or so later, you'll have some transcription that you can also verify yourself if you want to edit it or not. And then the PDF presentation, if you want to upload it here, this is the option where you will upload your PDF presentation. Okay. So that is it for how you would record your presentation through this platform. If you're doing it through Zoom or any other platform, then you just use, like I said before, the upload presentation video here through MP4. Okay. That's it. I'm going to stop sharing.
In the chat, there was a couple of
Questions?
of folks. Yeah, there was just a couple of folks in the chat wondering if they have two people presenting, so they pretty much have to use Zoom in order to do that, right? Or some other application like that, and then they can upload.
That's right. Yeah. So if you have two people presenting, you can do it like this in a Zoom meeting, share your screen and just make sure you record it. And then when you save it as an MP4 and upload it in that same location.
And Laurie was wondering if you can pause it, pause the recording as you're doing it.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a one shot. Yeah.
Okay, so just again, I'm gonna just go back here. Give me 2 seconds. All right. 1 second. So just returning here to the presentation. So we'll get into the Q&A in just a second. I noticed there's a number of questions, but just real quick, if you have any questions after the webinar or as you're trying to record or you're trying to submit or you've run into a glitch or you're missing some information or something, you can call Maria, and this is the email, or contact Maria, and this is the email here, CAEH@goldenplanners.ca, that you can get a hold of her, and she can walk you through any particular questions or challenges you might have. So we've got a few questions in the Q&A tab. If you have any others, please feel free to submit them. But first question's from Ali, who's saying, I use Google Slides. Do I have to upload a file for the presentation, or can I just share a link?
I would say it's best to download the file to post it there. That way it's PDF. Google Slides, sometimes people can edit or you know, I think the best option is to do the PDF.
Okay. Rachel's saying that they're a student with Blue Door. They're presenting for 45 minutes. However, it'll be from 3 different shelters that we have. I was wondering if we will need to submit 3 different 15-minute videos or 1 45-minute video. So I'm assuming then the best way to do that would be for the 3 different shelters to record their presentation on Zoom or a technology like that, and then upload it together in 1 45-minute segment. Would that be right, Maria?
Yeah, that would be right. Or you can do like the panel with 3 different videos as well. It's whatever works best for you. But on the Exceed platform, you cannot do the 15 individual videos.
Okay. Okay. All right. Someone else is saying that they couldn't see their concurrent session when they registered. it wasn't listed. What does that mean? And do I have to select a specific session? I think the best thing to do would be to reach out to Maria.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, just email me. I can't see who you are right now, but just email me and I'll look at it right away. Like if you even email me now, I'll be able to see it.
Okay. And I think someone else is asking for links or info for panel recording options. We mentioned Zoom, but were there others, Phil and Maria, that you thought would work?
There's a few. It's whatever you're the most comfortable using. If you can't seem to find any that you like or you're comfortable with, just let me know and I can send you some links with some step-by-steps.
Great.
I can put my email in the chat too. So
yes.
it's copy paste.
I see someone just posted the Loom option. I've not used Loom, but I've heard that it is a free option that's like Zoom.
Oh.
And we have Maria's the email here for who to contact for more
And
information.
for anybody that had questions about the speeds that I mentioned earlier, I've posted those all into the chat. And one last little thing that I wanted to mention about your environment for your recording, it's a good idea to turn off all your other programs that you have running. So it's there's not activity going in the background, which can slow down your internet speed, but also you don't want notifications popping up like happened to Maria. Not to embarrass you, Maria, but during that session when that notification popped up, you wouldn't want to have to restart your recording right at the very end just because something came in like that.
Alzar is asking, will we have access to recordings of presentations that are taking place at the same time as ours? Yes, so all of the sessions are being recorded and they'll be available to registered participants. Phil, I can't remember what we said as kind of the timeline that they'll be exclusively available to all registered participants.
I think we were talking about 3 months.
Yeah. So you'll be able to get them all exclusively if you're registered for 3 months, and then they'll be publicly available, but all sessions will be recorded and we'll post them and make them available. Okay, I'll just pause another minute, see if there are. Carla's asking in the chat, will the moderator be reading the biographies submitted? I think they'll be pulling their introduction from that. They might not read everything. Some people have done an awful lot and have very long bios, I would assume. Phil, does that make sense?
Yes.
Another question. Is there an option not to have our recording made publicly available? Good question. I feel like I assume it's theoretically possible.
Well, I think they're talking about made publicly available on the CAEH website post-event, and that could definitely be done. For the purpose of the virtual conference, part of the concept of it and what everybody's agreed to is that it is available for participants, just like if you're watching it live.
Cynthia's asking, are presenters logging into the conference in the same way as attendees, or is there a different login?
And the answer to that is, to the overall conference, it's the same way as all the other attendees, because at that point you're an attendee. For your particular session in which you're presenting, we'll be providing a separate Zoom link. Yeah. But it's just for the sessions you're presenting in.
Yeah, and we would like to make sure the presenters are present during the whole session, because we'd like you to be engaging folks that are attending your session in the chat. So people may have questions, people may have comments. The moderator will let folks know that you're online, and people may want to ask you questions or have comments as you're going through your presentation.
I've been seeing in the chat a few people who said that they did not get the link for the logging into to this. So I see your name. I see your names, and I will look into it. Okay.
Yeah, there's another comment in the chat saying, how will that work for panels? I'm not sure. With multiple presenters on the Q&A, I think that'll be up to the moderator. We'll have to sort of open that up. They'll either open up questions to the whole panel, or they'll open up questions to specific panelists, or you can work through as a panel who would be answering the questions. Okay. Do we know approximately how many people have registered for the conference? I don't have the numbers as of this minute, but I think Maria normally does have them.
I can tell you that it's there's over 1,000 people that are going to be that have registered from the conference, either as individuals or through group licenses.
Yeah, that's right. So individual registrations, we have 697. With groups, it's a total of 923. So that means a little bit over 1,000.
And Cynthia's asking, should we log into our session early? Yeah, so about 15 minutes before. We'd like you to log in, make sure your tech is working. And there'll be somebody available online to help you if you have any tech questions. And Maria, I don't know how that exactly works, but I think there's like a help button or something on the system.
Yeah. We'll also set instructions with more details with your Zoom link and more steps by steps for the day of.
Okay.
So you'll get more details in.
Awesome. I'll just pause a minute to see if there's any other questions. And again, in case you didn't get a chance to write down Maria's email, here it is again, caeh@goldenplanners.ca.
Yeah, I've already gotten some emails. I've saved the chat, so I'm saving your emails and all that.
Awesome. Okay. Claire said the Zoom crashed and I missed the recommended speeds Phil shared. That's in the chat. I'm just scrolling up. The upload speed of a minimum of 5 megabytes per second, download minimum 30 megabytes per second, and the jitter ping, I don't even know what that is, at 20 ms. So whatever that's at. Not really sure.
It's 20 megaseconds, and it's the time that it takes for your computer to ping off the server.
Okay. There you go. Okay. All right, everyone, not seeing any more questions. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all for agreeing to present at the conference and your patience with us as we figure out how to host a virtual conference. It's going to be a great event. We got a lot, as we said, we'll have, I think by the time the conference rolls around, well over 1,000 folks. So we will have a very good group, lots of folks. If you get stage fright, don't worry, you don't actually have to see everybody. It works well. And we're really looking forward to your presentations. And thank you all for joining. Thank you all for agreeing to present. And thank you all for participating in the 2021 National Conference on Ending Homelessness. And if you have any questions at all, please do feel free to reach out. Thank you all. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
All right. Talk
Bye.
soon, everyone. Have a great day.